the first one he had was the same thing I was thinking.
Okay.
If I'm a Houston Rockets fan, there are 3,500 or so in attendance tonight, would I boo or cheer James Harden? That I thought was an interesting question.
Okay.
What would I do as a fan? And
Because
Todd stole it from me.
They're retiring his jersey tonight.
Well, no, they said they want to retire his jersey at some point. I don't think, is that happening tonight? They're going to retire his jersey? I have to check that.
Maybe not, but they are retiring his jersey.
Yeah, they announced that that's definitely in the plans.
Right. So would I boo James Harden? You know, I don't know how a Houston Rocket fan feels. And he did play hard, well at times, never in a big game. He was entertaining. The ending was horrible. You want to boo him? Boo him. Like, I don't care.
Is he a retired number worthy guy? He was there actually 9 years. I didn't really.
Yeah, sure. I guess.
But I don't understand. You used to love, not that you don't love James Harden. You said he was the most unstoppable offensive player you've seen 3 years ago.
But he quit on his team.
Every great star quits on their team at some point. Don't they? That's an NBA thing.
Wow. I mean, he quit during games. And he's the one. Okay, if I throw all of this into the crock pot, and it is a crock, that he got there, great story. They almost, they were formidable in Oklahoma City. He was sixth man, got there, wanted his own team, got his money, and then was able to build a roster. He was able to help build a roster. And then he wanted out. After he kicked everybody out, then he said, oh, this is not fixable. I want out. I got a problem with that.
But isn't that similar to what LeBron James did his first go-around in Cleveland? He helped build the roster. It didn't work.
He didn't quit during the season. He tried to get players to come there.
His owner said he quit specifically and pointed to like 3 playoff games, said LeBron gave up. That was one of the early controversies with LeBron.
Well, we could probably have a different opinion about the other side of the equation with the ownership there in Cleveland as well. Because LeBron came back to Cleveland for the city of Cleveland, not that owner.
For sure, yeah. But I think it's a fine line. I don't think LeBron quit, by the way. I think he realized it was not working.
Let's see if James Harden goes back in his career and wins a title for Houston. Because LeBron did come back and say, I'm going to win a title for Cleveland. But if you say that first of all, LeBron couldn't get anybody to come to Cleveland. His buddy Chris Bosh wouldn't even fly into Cleveland. I don't even know if he would fly over Cleveland. He was like, no, I'm going to Miami. And LeBron was looking around going, okay, I'm King James. I'm the chosen one. I'm all of these things. But I'm not going to be a champion on this roster, and that's when he went to Miami. Now, if we want to get into the weeds and you say that he quit on the team, at least he got to the playoffs. If you're going to say he quit on the team, James Harden didn't even get to the playoffs.
Well, this was an epic quit this year. This is a completely different category.
And that's why he can't be MVP this year. He quit on his team, and he wanted out. It's part of the year. I can't go, well, if you just look at the Brooklyn Nets part of this, yeah, he's MVP. And he is. And I do love watching him play, and I am fascinated by what he does. In 50 years, I've been watching the NBA. James Harden's on the short list of most fascinating players of how he does it. Now, I will say this. The guy who gets as much attention as he does has done less in big games than most of your superstars. In the 50 years I've been watching the NBA, James Harden does not come up big at all. At all. Now, maybe this year, with some help, with Durant, Kyrie, maybe he does. But if you want to retire his jersey, retire his jersey. Build a statue, I don't care. I mean, I just don't. I've moved past James Harden and the Houston Rockets. Like, all right, whatever. Still love watching him play for the Nets. He was unbelievable the other night. And I don't want anybody to misconstrue this. I love watching him play. I just can't be on board with somebody who quit a team he built and then deconstructed and then says, I want out. I can't be on board with that. You're not an MVP. No way. Yeah, McLovin.
Is there a distinction like Deshaun Watson is quitting on the Texans, but it's totally different, right? Because it's offseason.
I don't know what is at the core of all of this. I have a problem with Deshaun Watson. I truly do. Signed up. DeAndre Hopkins was already gone, and you were happy as you were brought to tears. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Like, did you find out the politics of your owner? And that was part of this? Like, I don't know. Diversity. Did you're not bringing in the people I want? Okay. Like, I want to know what is the biggest reason why Deshaun Watson wants out. I'm truly curious about that because I go back to that press conference. I watched that press conference the other day. I watched it on Sunday. And I went, he couldn't be happier, more appreciative. What happened off the field? Was it simply you didn't acknowledge me and let me have a say-so with Eric Bieniemy? I mean, is that what it's all about? Because it feels like it was more than that. Yeah, McLovin.
What if he was lied to and they said you're going to have this amount of say, and then they immediately showed they didn't give him that amount of say? Is that possible justification?
Well, can you go back to him and say, we apologize? We truly apologize, and you will be involved. Now, I never would have given him that power. Never. At 25? Never. But if you did, and you went back on your word, then and you got a problem with it, and that's enough for you to want out, that seems like a stretch. It does. But that's at the core of all of this is off the field. But what is it? You brought in an African-American head coach who you do have a little bit of a relationship with. You didn't get Robert Saleh, who went to the Jets. Eric Bieniemy, you wanted him to at least get interviewed, which I do think the Texans made the mistake of saying we're not interviewing him. Interview him. Everybody got interviewed this year. Jason Garrett got interviewed this year. It can't hurt. But whatever that is, I'm curious about that with Deshaun Watson. By the way, when you talk about Houston sports, last one out, turn off the lights. I mean, Chris Paul, DeAndre Hopkins, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Garrett Cole, J.J. Watt. I mean, now Deshaun Watson in the on-deck circle.
George Springer hit a homer in spring training the other day, too, I think, for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's great. Springer. But that's the last 2 years that's happened. I mean, it's been crazy there. Yeah, Paulie.
Going back to Harden, the Harden situation, going back to his old team, it's like if you have a contractor redo the kitchen in your house. He's doing a fine job. He's doing the work. It's all great. It looks beautiful. And then right before he finishes, he just leaves town. And it's like 80% done. And he leaves you with a big pile of mess. And then you see him at the local pub. How do you like the kitchen I built for you? You didn't finish the job. You didn't build a kitchen. You tore out of here and left me with a big old mess. And how do you think the Houston fans are going to be tonight? They're not going to, or tomorrow, whatever it is. They're going to be salty about what happened recently. They're not going to calm down and think about what he did for them in the past 5 years.
Yeah, it's up to them. I mean, how you take it, I mean, that's part of being a fan. Like, you live and die with these teams, with these players, and how important they are, and how important they are to your city. Like, we always love that civic pride, like my team, as if you're part of the team. Well, you're just a fan. You want to boo James Harden? Boo James Harden. You know what? Let me tell you, James Harden, it won't matter. It won't matter. Now, if he gets booed at the strip club after the game, then he might care. Yeah, McClellan.
Doesn't time always heal these wounds? Like Favre and Green Bay were on the outs for a few years.
Yeah.
So, like, I know you probably have talked to retired athletes who had beef with their team, Bradshaw and the Steelers.
But at least, like, in fairness to Favre, they drafted his replacement. But, Favre kept going back. He was wishy-washy with what he was doing, how long he was going to play. I went to the Seattle playoff game when, it was New Year's Eve. I went to a game with my son because he was is a Packer fan. And I thought, let me take him to see Brett Favre's last game. We thought that was going to be his last game. And I just talked to him after the game, and I realized he wasn't retiring. But everybody thought that. So the Packers, they didn't know. Like, are you retiring? I don't know. And then they drafted his replacement. And then that led to, the acrimony there, and then he wanted out. But at least I understood why he might be upset, but he was part of the problem as well. Because kept going back and forth if he wanted to stay or not. But yeah, you want to boo James Harden, boo James Harden. I couldn't care less. Yes, Tom.
Now, if you're the front office or Coach Silas or his former teammates, do they secretly hope he gets booed? And what's that interaction going to be like, if any? I know with COVID and everything between his former teammates, how awkward might that be?
This team isn't any good. They got other worries than James Harden getting cheered or booed. Well, they lost 11 in a row.
12.
12 in a row. Like, oh, we're going to show him, and then he's going to go out and torch you for 35. James Harden is not going to be concerned about any of this stuff. He's not. But it's up to you, Houston. Do what you feel like is in your heart. You want to go there and you want to boo him, then boo him. But it doesn't matter. It won't matter to him. He might say afterwards, yeah, a little disappointed, but hey, I understand why they could be upset. But you're right. Time heals all wounds. Yeah, Paul.
Houston people are more mad at Nick Wright for making fun of their barbecue than they are James Harden. Barbecue is what Houston's about, not basketball.
Oh,